Hello everybody and welcome back to Rory's Story Cubes. We're gonna do another one of these. We're going to attempt to tell a story of somebody or something. And we're gonna do that with a new set of dice as well today. This is one of the new ones. It's called a Voyage. I'm just gonna grab the thing over here. There you go. Lovely Story Cube Voyages. There's all sorts of things in here and I'm not really sure. It says Voyages, but there's also things in there like magical beans and all that sort of thing. It does have, I just noticed something, this guy. Like a spyglass, so I'm guessing that's sort of a voyage thing. So we're going to be using some of those as well today. Who knows, we might come into even more voyage stories. It sounds like we might. Or more mysteries, who knows. Anyway, I like to expand the amount of dice I have so I can get more diversity in my stories. I do, however, I'm probably going to need a bigger bag eventually because it's getting a bit tight in here for everything. And that would make it harder to get to the ones at the bottom. Unless you dig real deep. Let's see now. Diggy diggy dice. Here is 3 of them. And of course, once again, once you see all the dice on the screen, you can actually pause and take a look at all the different color pictures, rather, not colors. Look at all the pretty colors. And then you can make up your own story and post that in the comment section. I would like it if you did, so I can see what your imagination tells you to make out of these images. And mine, I'm going to show you in a moment. Let's see, I have 5 of them now. We're going to roll each separately, at least 4, 1, and then 5. And then we'll see what we get. Oh. First of all, we have a magic mirror. And this is somebody on a stretcher. Not very fortunate, this person. And here's a monkey. Of course, there's always a monkey involved. And here's a garden gnome. We haven't had you before. I don't think I've had any of these except for the guy or the mirror. I've had that one before. Lo and behold, a magic mirror. Hup. And here is one of those Japanese style temple gates, I think they are. A footprint. Oh, mystery. And somebody who's sleeping over here. And there's a flower. Flowy the flower. And there's a boat. Okay, so we have quite a collection here. Now, what can we make out of this? We have several people who could be the main character. But we're gonna start with... we're gonna start with this guy. Here is our random variety garden gnome, except for this one, he is actually alive. Though he spent most of the, I guess you would call that garden gnome childhood, sleeping in a store for garden furniture. And he slept for a few more years in somebody's front yard until one day he woke up because there was a flower that planted nearby, which, the pollen of which, woke him up because it got in his nose and made him sneeze so badly that he was suddenly awake and aware of his surroundings. And the first thing he did was walk around, because when you're new to a place you want to explore, you don't really know who you are yet. Apparently he didn't, at least. And after a bit of exploring, he found himself in a temple yard. Not really sure how he got there. Apparently they were living near a temple, these people did, so apparently we're in Japan or something, or some type of recreation area that has one of these, I don't know. So he went inside, and eventually he found a temple, of course, and some of these temples, not necessarily in Japan perhaps, but certainly in India, they have monkeys all over the place. And there was a monkey over here, sitting near one of the temple gardens, and he saw a gnome walking up to him. He said, what the heck are you doing here? Garden gnomes aren't supposed to be here. This isn't a garden, you know, at least not one of your type of gardens. He's like, oh yeah? Well, we'll see about that. And so they had a fight, a fisticuffs, and eventually one of them had to be carried away. We don't know who it was yet. And so, let's see now we have the main character. Yes, we do. It was him. He won. Hooray! And once he won, he got the prize, which was a magic mirror, which, of course, the monkey conveniently carried in his back pocket. Which he didn't have, but he did have a mirror, so don't ask where it was the entire time. So he used the magic mirror to try and find what other places he could go to, and he also wanted to know how he got to be in the first place, because he had no idea how he was constructed. Because he didn't know exactly what he was, but he knew he wasn't natural. Garden gnomes aren't born, you know, that sort of thing. And so, he took advantage of the magic mirror to travel all around, because we are, of course, playing with the Voyages cubes. And he went all around the world and explored and had a great time. And eventually he got stuck in a garden center once again, and he was sold. But because he had spent so much time traveling, he was actually done traveling. He's like, okay, I'm just gonna stand here forever and ever, and maybe occasionally attend to the flowers in the garden when everybody else isn't looking. So that's the story of our garden gnome. a bit confusing, and there was some violence, so I might have to rate the video PG-13 or something like that. People were actually carried away in stretchers. Right, so that was the first one. I'm now gonna put these aside so I don't grab them a second time. And we might not get some of the things on the sides, of course. But who knows, we might get something different then. Because now we have so many cubes in this bag, I might not get to certain other cubes if I keep using the same ones. Or at least put them back in the bag. Let's see, what do we have here? This is 5. And these are, whoops, 4. And by looks of things, these two are new, so who knows what they're going to give. Now I'm going to put the others back in, so you may get them for the third story. Don't worry, you might get your favorites. I already saw the chaos symbol slipping by there. I like to use that. Chaos is always good in weird storytelling. Right, here we go. Something. Don't know what that is. Could be a bubble popping, or it could be an explosion, or it could just be a magical shining light globe. Either way, there's also this octopus, and there's a pyramid. Ooh, Illuminati confirmed. And we have a fountain of youth, perhaps, or a fountain of old age. I don't know. And the other 5 are the magic combination. This looks like a spot. It could be a puddle. It could be any kind of stuff. This looks like cough medicine, or maybe it's not cough medicine. I think I turned this one over and not sure what was up. So I'm gonna roll again. Up. This looks like a space shuttle type thing, like a spacecraft. And this is the guy once again, Frank, I think I called him last time, from the River Styx. And this is a staircase leading to somewhere. Potentially heaven, but we don't know that. Let's start with the least likely suspect. After you're done, of course, looking at these and figuring out what you'd like to have told, we're going to start with this guy. It's the space octopus. His name is Sam. Don't know why, but it is. Space octopus, for some reason, they like to come to Earth, but before then, he had already spent quite some time zooming around in his capsule through space. And what attracted him to this planet was the existence of these things, because they tend to exist only on his planet. He's like, what the heck's going on over here? They had the same pyramid structures. I don't know what's going on. So he teleported down to the Earth. Bloop, just like that. He was there. And who was there to see him? It was Frank, our old buddy from before. George's friend. Well, not really his friend, because he was just trying to convince George that he wasn't actually good enough to go to the place that actually was his hometown, that I'm thinking about it. If you want to have some type of continuity, thank you for sending me a message in the middle of the video. Well, much appreciated. Anyway, so Frank was here. He was like, hey, where the hell did you come from? And the guy's like, blah, 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 pretty much like how I speak mostly. So they didn't understand each other, but since he was already there, he's like, okay, well, I guess you would like maybe a drink? And he gave him something from a spoon, which of course this guy didn't know what it was. Also, he had a bit of trouble breathing because it was not quite the hydrogen environment that he was used to, but of course he had one of those breathing apparatus like you see in Star Trek, at least the old episodes, with the fumes coming out of the little thing in front of their faces, and which always makes them look really strange. But either way, so they had that, and he took a sip of this, and he wasn't quite sure what it was. Eventually, though, he had to throw up because it was not quite up to his standards, and he went to a fountain to go and get some water, because water is one of the things that is apparently universal, and he didn't want some of that. Water seemed like a good idea to him. Either way, so while he was there, he's like, okay, Frank, I don't know what you're gonna do, but I need to explore because I came down here for these guys. So, bye-bye, or in his language it would be... So he went off, and eventually he ended up in with a spaceship, a smaller pod, which would allow him to travel in the atmosphere. Because this guy normally in space would like burn up all the oxygen. We don't want that. So he had a smaller pod that he could travel around, and eventually he got to the pyramids. He opened them up to find paint all over the place. Because why not? Somebody had been painting it, apparently. Either way, eventually he found stairs, and he went down to investigate, and found that actually the treasure he was expecting was all gone. Oh well. Since he could find no other explanation for the reason the pyramids were there in the first place, he got back on a spaceship and left, and he has never returned since. So that was Sam, the interstellar octopus, come to visit us once more. or rather the first time. He might come back if we ever see him again. We need to remember that this guy is Sam and this guy is Frank. Alright, so that was that one. Now for the third one, I'm just gonna leave these aside. He's not gonna come back today, so say goodbye to Frank. Or Sam, sorry. Say goodbye to Frank as well. Bye Frank, we're gonna see you next time. You're gonna go sit over here. And then it's time to get more dice from the bag for our final story of the day. Oops. 1, 2, 3. That's 6 of them. Making headway. And 7, 8, and 9. There you go. These two are new as well. And this one, the monkey. We had the monkey before. That was the previous round. Alright, I'm gonna grab 4 of you. No, 5 rather. Slide for a moment. Oh yeah. This looks like some type of weird... It looks like a shield, but it could be like one of those drawings. Like we sent one on a satellite out in space with a whole bunch of information about our planet or our mathematical system and all that sort of thing. It kind of looks like this. Or it doesn't look like that, but it looks like something that would be similar from a different race. So we're going to put space object over here. This person is asleep. He doesn't care about math. This guy is clearing up a chemical spill. And here is the chemical spill in question. And here's an elephant. Because elephants are known for causing chemical spills. Alright, here comes the other 4. Up. This guy is super happy because he got there before this guy. I'm already making the story. And this is a flower. And this is a cup. Which runneth over. And guess who's back? Back again. Make sure to pause the video so you can get your story in. Alright, let's see now. Who do we start with? Da 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 da. Do, 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 do. I'm going to start with this elephant. One day there was an elephant wandering around the Saharan Desert. If they are in the Saharan Desert, I don't know if they are, but if they are, then they're wandering around the Saharan Desert. And this was one of them. And he was like, I'm thirsty. So I'm going to go and look around a bit if I can find anything to drink, which is what you do when you're thirsty. And he tried a bunch of different things, and he just picked a few flowers. Maybe they were like juicy flowers. I don't know. He chewed on them for a while. Nothing really happened in that regard. I mean, he didn't find what he wanted. He even asked one of the local minotaurs, because they were on holiday there for a long time. He was like, it was officially, the story was that he was on a holiday, but actually he was on the run for the police, and he wasn't allowed to return to the United States, so he went to the Saharan Desert, and officially he was camping out, or unofficially rather. And so the elephant's like, do you have any idea where there's water? I mean, you've been here for a while. And the Minotaur said, well, I don't really drink water. I only drink the blood of virgins, so can't help you there, I'm sorry. He's like, okay, thanks, I'll just go to sleep and I'll try again tomorrow. So, elephant goes to sleep. Gotta move him up a little bit. There you go. And in the morning he has new ideas where he might be able to find stuff. He goes and looks for the ruins nearby, because he had heard that there are some interesting things to be found there. So he goes inside, looks at the parts that he can reach, because he's still an elephant, he can't reach all the small things. And after a while of searching around, a small glint catches his eye. And it's this thing. There's a big plaque on the wall. He's not sure what it is, but the crack in the ceiling let a ray of sunlight through and shone right on that thing, and it attracted his attention, so he went over there. And he looked at it, he was like, ooh, that's interesting. What do I do with this? Well, maybe if I touch this little middle bit here, and hope something happened. A panel shot open, and there was this guy, sitting right there. He's like, oh, a cup. And it actually has something in it. And that made him very happy. So he took the cup, he sniffed it for a while, it didn't seem too strange, so he's like, okay, I'm gonna have a drink. And unfortunately, it was poison. I'm sorry. It's galactic. Well, it was poison to him. Let's put it that way. To whoever made this plaque, whatever is they're from, they probably would have had like the best time ever with this stuff. Like they would have lived forever, and they would have had no thirst or no hunger, and like gained 28 IQ points. I don't know, some great bonus items in them for that. But for our poor elephant from the Saharan Desert, if they are there, then for him it was a bad idea. So eventually his carcass started to rot, and the neighborhood started to stink, and they had to send in a team to clear out the mess, which of course now combined with the stuff that he drank had turned into one gigantic toxic pile, which was really bad for the natural environment there, which needed to be protected because it was in some type of reserve park. You need to reserve your parks. Nature Reserve, that's the word I was looking for. Okay, so that was the unfortunate story of our friend the elephant and his friend the Minotaur and the intergalactic cup of, what's that called again? The Grail, the Holy Grail of the intergalactic stellar outer space place people. And I think that's the end of it, because that's the story number 3. I'm going to say leave your comments below with your stories. I'll see you next time, thanks for watching, and bye bye for now.